I've got like Caitlin Collins eyebrows going on. Yes, I did just invoke my favorite CNN correspondent. What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today I'm going to be creating the look that you see before you using, many things that I love, but mainly the Aether Amber Cheek Palette, which you guys have seen before, and then the Topaz Mini Crystal Palette, which you guys have not seen in action before on my channel. And I am including both of these not just because I think they are so beautiful together, but also because today is a giveaway. I am partnering with Aether to give away these two items to one lucky winner. And the reason that I chose these, I just love the way the peach and the green go together. You wouldn't think that they would work, but we also didn't think that orange and purple were going to work together the way that they did with the M Cosmetics palette. We surprise ourselves every day. But also, these are the two items that I would choose from her entire collection that work on every skin tone. The Rose Quartz colorway and the Ruby colorway in the cheek palettes are for light and deeper skin tones respectively. This one's right in the middle, and you get such great saturation from it that I feel like it works on everybody. And I have seen this Topaz palette on so many skin tones, and it is unbelievable. I highly recommend actually watching the stories on the Aether Instagram, because she reposts people doing tutorials all the time, and you get to see all ages, all skin types, all skin tones using her products. And it's very inspirational, but it's also incredibly beautiful on everybody. So I'm going to show you guys step by step how I achieved this festive little look here. It's a little unexpected, but I think it's super, super pretty. And I hope that you guys are excited to see it come together. I will be sharing the details of how to enter the giveaway at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I have here the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation. This is what I'm gonna be attempting to use today. And that is because when I watched Amanda Z's video where she had all of her favorite creators recommend products for her, I think it was Shelby Wilson recommended this one, and it just made me recall that I had it in my collection. And the thing that she pointed out about this formula was that even though it is a fantastic and photographable full coverage foundation, that was a lot of alliteration, that it also has a lot of flexibility of coverage, and it does have a pretty good dry down on its own, so we don't have to just absolutely cake it with powder to get it to set. And I'm just being so minimal here. And if you're like, Kackie, you never use a sponge. Why are you using a sponge? Because my brushes are dirty. It's not any deeper than that. I washed my eyeshadow brushes in preparation for this video, but I did not get around to washing my Complexion brushes. Still a little bit pale, as everything seems to be lately. And I think what I'm actually just gonna do is use the Salt New York bronzer in light, and I'm gonna use that to kind of blend and warm everything up. I got the experience of using this for the first time on camera in my Salt New York video, and I just absolutely loved how this shade looked on my skin. I had been using the light medium, and it's just a little bit too yellow for me. At least right now with zero sun on my skin. It's like a nude blush almost. I mean, not really, but it just pulls peachy pink. I think that's gonna go really nicely with the peachy blush. So the Amber palette you guys have seen on my channel before, and it looks pink when it's in the palette, but I'll show it to you guys up against the Rose Quartz palette, because the Rose Quartz palette is actually pink. That's actually really nice because I didn't hide my freckles. I just got the coverage that I needed, and we don't need concealer. I am gonna go in with just a touch of contour. Get that up here. A touch, she says. There's glitter. I don't know where the glitter's coming from, but there's glitter everywhere. There's glitter on my baby. There's glitter on my face. I don't know. It's that time of year. Miss Hallie sent me this enormous box you guys saw on my vlog channel if you watch my vlogs of baby stuff. And when I say baby stuff, I mean postpartum stuff. It was all stuff for breastfeeding and when you get home from the hospital for comfort and things like that. Very essential items that I did not know that I was going to need. And that was a while ago. That was before I gave birth. And so that's been at least 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, which time is flying. My child is going to be 10 weeks old tomorrow. But the thing that has lingered is the fact that she packed it with confetti. Very quickly, I'm just gonna powder on top of that contour underneath my neck so that we can try and keep it from transferring onto my turtleneck. And I'm actually going to powder on top of all of it because we're going to be using a powder blush. But yes, she packed it with confetti, and now my garage is covered in confetti, and I will look down and the bottom of my sock has confetti stuck to it, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving. So thank you, Hallie, for that. All right, let's go in with this here amber palette. Again, you guys have seen this already, but we are also going to be using it on my eyes today with the green. We are really going to put green right up next to pink, and it's going to be beautiful, trust me. Going in with a very fluffy, loose brush here. I'm gonna tuck my hair behind my ears. Oh, and I said I was gonna compare the two. So as you can see, comparatively, that's just it's so much peacher than the rose quartz, and the highlights are obviously extremely different, but even that really, really bright shade, like this is just so much more saturated. Anyway, I like using both. You guys saw me use the highlight from this one, especially in my last video, to get those snow bunny vibes. I feel like that pink is just very on my skin, snow bunny-esque, and this is just healthy. There's something about this peach colorway that looks so healthy on my skin. I feel like it would be very easy sometimes to dismiss these colorways because they do just kind of look like, oh, that's a nice blush. There's intelligence built into these shades. This one is just so unlike anything else that I have. And you see I'm putting it all over my eyeballs. It's very, very easy to use. I'm going to also use the bright shade, and I'm gonna kind of mix it with the lighter shade, and that's gonna just be the pop on the apples and the nose, and maybe a little on the chin. And they do blend beautifully even after you've put them on. So if I were to stamp too much, worst case scenario, I would pull out a little bit of powder and get it to move around again, but it's so agreeable. I might have to turn the heat off. All right, I'm gonna throw in a little brow before we get started here. Let's crack into why we're all here today. And that is because of the new to my channel product that you guys haven't seen yet. So this is the Topaz quad. I love that she put out quads because, like I've said before, buying a full eyeshadow palette, a full-size eyeshadow palette is kind of a lifestyle choice. It's like I need to make a decision based on all of these shades whether this is something that I'm going to really work my way through over the next year or so. A quad is so much easier to fit in my brain because it's just like a fun thrill. You can get a lot of looks out of these shades, but it's not as big of a commitment. So I found the most surprising thing about these, because of course you're looking at, right, a gold and a brown. Those are very easy for me to stomach, even though that gold is actually, it's still more thought out than just a gold. There's more to it. It's got like a little bit of a copper thing to it. I'm not totally sure, but it's complex and I like that. These two shades are the ones that I thought were not going to look very good on me. So this is more of a green shift gold, and then this is kind of a green gold, you know? Some golds are more neutral, some of them are more like champagne, or some are more orange, and this one is one that has more of a patina green to it, and they are both just absolutely beautiful, and oddly enough, those are the ones that we're going to be working with the most today. So the first one that I'm actually going to start with is this green gold, and it is, well, it's called Topaz, as it turns out, the namesake of the palette. And that is going all over kind of the inner half here. Look how beautiful that is. Look how that glows, and I promise it's gonna come together. We're gonna lean a little bit on my trick of putting blush in the eyeshadow look, like I said, and that's going to definitely bring everything together. But I have done this look, I think twice now before this, just practicing, and we're not going to shy away from these green shades. So I'm taking that deeper green, which is called Cosmic Awareness. I put this in my favorites in the conversation around how green eyeshadows are something that I was initially really afraid of, and they work incredibly well on brown eyes. I got a few comments from people being like, yay, thank you for telling me about things that look good on brown eyes. I feel like brown eyes are often maligned. I am Italian at the end of the day, so that's where I got the brown eyes from, but I'm also Irish and English, and that is why I can't get a tan. Okay, so we have established some local color here, and even though I did use a flat brush to pat those shadows in, these are extremely blendable shades. I'm about to show you how. So I'm going to use the brown shade, which is called Rejuvenation, and none of these is matte, but the brown is the most matte. It's more of a satin, whereas the others are pretty shimmery. So I can use that to build a nice crease situation. And it does pull the brown right there from my eyes. And I'm using a different brush. This is more of a blender brush. I've started linking my tools. I try to remember to. I only have a few that I use, and people have asked me to do videos of, or at least one video of my favorite tools, and I ought to. But I always think, oh my gosh, people would be so bored by that. I have like 5 things that I use, you know? But I do think that investing in the right tools really matters, and the right tools don't necessarily mean that they are an investment. I found that complexion brushes are something that does not have to be very expensive, things that spread cream. It's more about the shape of the brush than it is about the actual quality of the bristles, because actually a synthetic bristle is going to work better. And then when it comes to my eyes, that is where I invest, is something that blends beautifully and can give me precision, and I do have a lot of eye brushes. But the Wayne Goss ones happen to be my favorite. There have been things that I've done on my channel that have been, I feel like, leaps forward in terms of me trying to increase the quality of the content. And one of them was investing in nice tools. I was like, okay, I'm going to become one step closer, one step closer to being a quote unquote real YouTuber. I don't know what in my mind is like the final milestone of being a real YouTuber, but buying myself a 4K camera was definitely the most recent milestone to that effect. And the one before that was investing $300 in Final Cut Pro. And I still don't really know how to use it. All the bells and whistles escape me, but it does have some pretty good automatic functions. The same as this camera, which I still have to use auto white balance or everything looks kind of brown green, and my eyes just aren't trained for it. I digress. I'm going to now go in with a tiny little brush here, and I'm going to use, I guess, the deeper green shade, Cosmic Awareness, out here. Yeah, that makes sense. It was kind of between that and the brown. Ooh. I like that very much, Lay. And now we're actually going to start dipping into the blush palette to complete the eye look here. And I'm going to take the same blender brush and I'm going to dip that right into our main peach shade. And that's going to be my color up here. It hardly takes any. Look at that. It's actually so rare, and I'm glad that she did this with the blushes as well as the eyeshadows, because I say it about the eyeshadows all the time, but it's so rare to find something that has a good bit of saturation and pigmentation, which translates really well on a lot of skin tones, but also doesn't sacrifice on blendability, and even the blushes are like that. I said the same thing about the M Cosmetics formula, and it's rare. I mean, so much of the time I end up so frustrated because you end up with a professional eyeshadow that doesn't want to move around once it's on the skin, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not good enough for that, okay? And I don't think that everyone is. I want to be able to show you guys egalitarian makeup, I guess, or, you know, makeup for the people. Okay, not for the experts. Why do you think that Morphe, sorry, I'm about to shade Morphe. Why do you think Morphe only partners with the people who have really epic skills? It's because their formulas aren't that great. And so it actually takes some experience and a deft hand to make that stuff look good, and I possess neither. So I'm actually going in with the deeper shade, and these are actually both matte, which is really lovely. And I'm using that to also add a little bit more depth in the crease and bring that out a touch. It's definitely a look. It's definitely festive. You know, it's not necessarily my everyday, but I mean, but it could be. Let's see. So I want to also take that light pink shade and use that to blend underneath here. Just stick that brush right in your eyeball, Kackie. Yeah, and that really rounds it out. I might put in a little bit more green. And now I'm going to take the flat brush, clean it off camera, and I'm gonna dip that into the highlighter. This highlighter is so utterly beautiful. Aether knows highlighters. This is a very different formula from the, I don't know, the Crushed Diamond highlighter, which I feel like is almost like a wet look highlighter. And now I'm going to take a pencil brush, use that on the inner corner here. It's still very, very bright, but it's a much more finely milled shimmer. And it's got a little bit more pigment to it, I feel like. Although the gold, the yellow diamond, definitely has a lot of pigment to it. I have done entire eye looks that were just the yellow diamond highlighter. Something that I notice when I'm editing is that when I look down, sometimes I actually have more lid real estate than I think that I do. And so I end up putting color a little bit too low. And it actually can come up a little higher. So I'm taking Topaz up just a touch higher there. Even if the lid isn't always that large, it makes it look like maybe it is. And then I'll blend a little bit more of the deep green. Often I talk about shadows that you really need to make a decision with before going in, because if you change your mind, it's gonna show. I feel like these have so much grip to them that you don't necessarily have to know exactly what you're going for going in. They're not going to make a fool of you. So that's uncommon for my channel. I know that I always do shimmer on my lid, but that's because I feel like my lid gets lost if I don't. But we've definitely not done a green and pink look before. If we have, comment below, but I don't think that we have. Now I'm going to do a bit of eyeliner. I even cleaned my eyeliner brush. For what reason? I have no idea. And I think that I will use the deep brown. Like I said, it isn't matte, but it's more matte than the other formulas. And so it does still work as a really pretty little smoky eyeliner. And like I said, you could use this palette and get so many other looks, especially kind of like one shadow or two shadow eye looks. The way that it's put together, you have like a brown and a gold that go really well together, a green and a green gold that go really well together, but there's no reason you couldn't, you know, cross those with one another. And I feel like it's like the Storm Cloud paint in the sense of, it was the first one that I used a color that I thought was going to look atrocious on me, and it really blew my mind in a good way. I used to do a lot more first impressions because I used to actually film a lot more videos. I found that my quality of my videos is a lot better when I try the makeup looks ahead of time, and they're also a lot less annoying to edit because I'm not sitting there just kind of fumbling and going, oh, what am I gonna do next? I don't know how Tati did that. She literally only did first impressions, and I never feel like I have a good enough opinion on a product on a first impression. And so I had to just start dedicating more time to planning my videos. I digress. My point is that video was a first impression of that particular shade of the cloud paint, and anyone who watched it watched me in real time go, oh my gosh, this is gonna look terrible on me. And then I put it on and I was like, oh my gosh, I have just found the best shade on my face. And that like started my fjords journey. I know I keep talking about that video from Kackie where she talked about the fjords thing, but it sort of reintroduced the conversation on her channel that we have had many, many times over, which is that you can't actually run through a fjord. At least not with that attitude, you can't. Yeah, there were people commenting being like, fjords are a body of water. I don't think you can run through a fjord. And I think that that's like the funniest part about it, is that we didn't really know what fjords were when we first started. And we were like, is this? And my husband's like, you can't run through a fjord. And I'm like, yes, yes, we can. That is the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and I have been very much enjoying it. I like the Hourglass one, but it leaves the grossest film all over my desk. It's really, really nasty. But I actually feel like this time, before I got my eyes done, I actually put on enough blush. Like, I don't feel like I need to put more blush on. It's a momentous day, guys. Someone write it down. It happened. I actually had the courage to put on enough blush before I did my eyes. Okay, guys, so my camera cut off. But I just did a little bit of finishing touches, a little bit of lip. I'll list all the products down below, but I wanted to go ahead and provide you guys with the details for the giveaway. So again, it is going to be the Amber Cheek Palette and the Topaz Mini Crystal palette. I love these. And all the details to enter will also be down below. I'm going to use the typical way that I do, which is a Grwm link. Yes, you enter your information for this, but I'm not putting you on any kind of list. I'm not harvesting your data for any reason. In fact, I can't. I think that you have to pay for a membership and I use the free version. So don't worry about that. It's only so that I can contact the winner. And there might be an extra entry possibility for joining an email list or something like that, but you will always have the choice to do so or not to do so. Merely entering does not actually do anything in terms of costing you your data. We are going to ask that you follow me on Instagram and follow Aether on Instagram. We can't require it with the Grwm links. The platforms don't allow that for obvious reasons. It used to be a really, really quick way to get a whole bunch of followers all at once. And so while I can't require it, when I do choose the winner, I will check just to make sure. And obviously subscribe to my channel. But honestly, if you're watching this video and you're interested in an Aether giveaway, you're probably going to follow us on Instagram anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. So yes, you can enter using the link down below. And if you are not a gambling person and you don't really care about entering the giveaway and you just want to pick up these products or any other products on her website, I do have the best deal on the internet for just a basic discount, and that is 20% off. It used to be 10 or 15 or something, and now it is 20 with code HeyKackie, so that is down below as well. And I think that the only thing it doesn't apply to is if something's already discounted, like a bundle or something. So if you guys did enjoy this, do give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.